Did I do it right? I think I did it right. I think the stream is working. Welcome, Rucko. Welcome back. What am I doing today? I am working on the Homebrew. The good old Homebrew. Let me make sure my phone is turned down. Okay. So where to start? Where did I leave off? Last time, I think I was working on the subway layout, which I kind of got right. But I need to revamp it a little bit. So, kind of like the orange lines that you see in the sketch there. That one uses a subway. I should be a lot better about naming things. One. I'll find it eventually. That one? Oh. There it is. Let's go ahead and name that. Okay. So, the subway layout is... Wait, did I just name the wrong one? My computer's chugging. Man. I just double-clicked to edit the sketch. Hold, please. Okay, that is the subway layout one. So subway layout is those orange dotted lines. I have to revise this part to go kind of snake around and then come back across. I don't know if I want to do that now or not. But what else we got going on? The MagRail system is in here now. Turn off sketches. So this is the MagRail system. It's literally just a magnet mounted to rails, and then it's controlled by stepper motor. So all that there. And the way it works is the stepper motor is going to control positioning of the magnet relative to the mode. So you can kind of see there will be like an insert, like some plexiglass or whatever. There'll be an insert, the length of that, and then if I go in here and do this and animate model, now you can see that that magnet travels under there. So depending on the mode, let's just drive joints. Depending on the mode, so let's say I have a ball in this left shooter lane, and let's say it's the graveyard showdown between Voldemort and Harry for the first time, and you cast your counter spell against him, and that moment when the two wands meet is when you would launch it out of this lane. The magnet would grab your ball and kind of freeze it, and then it would position it more towards the center, and there'd be like a light show going on, showing kind of that battle of power. If you're familiar with the movie, you got the different colored lights coming out of the wands, and in the middle is kind of like sparking and melting. So I'll have inserts and light show to go with it. And then as like you struggle for power against Voldemort, it can move it kind of back and forth until finally you win that fight or whatever. And I don't know, it's going to be a moment. I don't know what it's going to do, I don't know how I'm going to code it. I don't even know how to code. I mean, I can code stuff, but I've never coded in Mission Pinball. So yeah, it's going to be fun to figure out. But the other cool thing about this magnet or MagRail TM, this MagRail system, is I can, let's say for instance, I'm requiring you to shoot at this captive ball area. We call it Horcrux pizza in these parts. So this pizza-shaped Horcrux area is a captive ball that also, it's not captive as in you have a stationary Newton ball. It actually captures your ball, and I'll either have posts raise up in front of it, or I'll have like a U-shaped retainer that'll lower down in front of it. And that way, when it's captive and sticking out front here, if you hit it from the right angle, it'll shoot towards these targets in the back. Or if you hit it from the left side, it'll shoot towards the targets in the back right here. But if I'm requiring you to shoot that shot, I can have the magnet here kind of messing with it or grabbing it as it comes back out of there. Or I can even, let's say I grab your ball from here, I can bring it up here and fling it up into that ball lock / captive ball. And I'm not entirely sure yet. I should be able to get this to move fast enough to where I can have the magnet travel in this way and then fling it up this orbit. And then anywhere, if I just kind of park the magnet somewhere, anywhere that is across this field, I can just fling it straight up or drop it straight down. So a lot of potential there. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that that whole concept fit before I started kind of mapping the subway the rest of the way. So yeah, I've got some custom designed brackets. So these guys here, so just a piece of sheet metal cut out with 2 bends in it. It's pretty straightforward. And then that mounts to these rails, which are just low profile linear rails that I'm gonna buy off Amazon. They're 500 millimeters in length, and then they have with them the carrier assembly. So the bearing carrier assembly that rides on the rail. So there's 2 of those, and then I have this custom bracket here, which I'll show you the flat pattern for that. Pretty simple. There's some extra holes on here in case I want to go with a different size carrier, but this hole right here is where the magnet core, where that magnet core sticks through there. And that magnet core would support the magnet and hold it in place as this whole assembly moves back and forth. So a couple pieces of custom sheet metal that I'll have cut out at Send Cut Send. So yeah, that's invention number 1. Pretty cool, if I do say so myself. The one thing that I have left to do on this is, so the bearing blocks here for the lead screw, I need to design some brackets to mount those where it's at currently. The reason why it's positioned so oddly is I needed space for the subway, so I gave it some extra height, and it also needed space to travel without interfering with like these switch targets here, and I needed clearance for the stepper motor itself to sit above the flipper assembly. So thank you, Board Dog. So I just got to create a couple brackets coming off of these and secure it to the underside of the playfield. How I want to do that, I don't know yet. This is obviously going to be a very crowded playfield underneath here. But it should work. I mean, that's kind of why I'm going through the whole process of building it in here first, so that I make sure everything fits clearance-wise, and then hopefully all the mechanical aspects of it move correctly, so I don't have to adjust anything. It should work, in theory. I mean, it's no different than a CNC axis. It's just a stepper motor and a linear, or a lead screw and some linear bearings. So that's pretty straightforward. So that's like custom mech number 3 now. So custom mech number 1 was this diverter system over here. So it's got the 4 targets, and then it'll rotate to open up in the outer orbit shot. As well as right now in the current state, if you do an under the flipper shot, it can drop in the subway system right here. So there's that custom mech. That took a lot of work, but that should work. I've got limit switches in here for calibration. It's just going to be 2 states. So I just got a DC motor on it, so it'll just run until it hits a limit switch, and then run until it hits a limit switch. I could have multiple states on here if I really wanted to, but I don't think that's necessary. I don't think it's going to add much to the gameplay if I have it rotated halfway. So 2 states is fine by me. And you'll notice I was even smart enough to put a post right here, so when it's rotated into its other position, there's a rubber post that protects the ball from the edge of this guide here. Yeah, I did some smart stuff. I could. That would be very Godzilla, wouldn't it? Oh no. Because right now it's just acting as a guide for this orbit shot here. Something to think about. And if I were to rotate it halfway, it would be past the limit switches here. I need to build the animation for this. All the joints, and get this so you can see what it does, but yeah, so that was mech number 1. I showed you mech number 3 was the MagRail system, and mech number 2 is actually just a bracket for an off-the-shelf VUC. So, one of these. And the bracket allows me to sister a coil behind it, and allows me to, let's get this positioned differently, allows me to essentially control and manage how the balls stage going into the subway. Because what I want is I want a ball staged in every single subway exit, ready to go, because I have like the Flu network and all that stuff. I will not be trying to animate any kind of springs. I'm just doing simple either sliders or rotate, whatever. I just want basic enough to show how it works. So this was custom mech number 2. Let me find it, and I'll turn the animation on for this. So it requires me to cut 2 slots in the back of the VUC bracket. And what this allows me to do, so in its normal state, the claws are going to be kind of in the middle of the VUC, preventing any balls from dropping down on top of the other ball that's already staged there. So you'll notice I have... music's maybe a little bit loud. Alright. That might be a little bit better. Or it's just loud in my ears. Hold on. Let's fix this. That may be quiet for you. That's better for me. I can hear myself think. Okay. So, I have an opto on top, so I know when a ball has been hit into the scoop, even though there's one already staged down below. So then, once I know that it's in there, I can then eject the ball with the claws out, and I'll eject it back into the subway system. And I'll have a couple like simple diverters to make sure it flows in the subway correctly. And then once that ball is out of there, I can retract the claws and let the new ball drop into place. Also, it allows me to eject a ball up and out. So I can, if I have the ball staged there ready to go, I can just retract the claws and launch it up and out. So that should at least afford me a little bit more of an opportunity to manage the subway better. I'm sure there's still going to be some gaps, but I'll have to kind of manage the rest of that somehow, one way or another. Probably lots of opto sensors. Think Star Trek Next Generation. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, that's the animation on that. It's relatively straightforward design. So the only thing that I'm making are 2 brackets. These pins are ones that I can just buy from McMaster Car. And the E-clips as well. So like, let's find, so here's this bracket here. And not have create a flat pattern. Maybe we won't. Flat patterns are somewhere out there. It must not have translated over when I transferred this, or insert this into my file. Yeah, I think it should work. That's kind of the one that's like most up in the air right now, if it's going to be clunky or not, but I think it should work. I can't really create a flat pattern for this right now, for whatever reason. So, let's see. That's annoying. Oh well. It is what it is. I can probably show you that if I just open the file itself, which is in CoilMex folder. No? Did I not move this one? Admin project. Okay. Alright, here's the flat pattern for the one bracket. And then flat pattern for the claw. Looks Looks like that. Pretty straightforward, 2 simple bends. I'm trying to keep the bends simple too, all like 90s and whatnot. But yeah, that should work. I'll just take a Dremel and cut 2 slots in the back here, just to give clearance for those to come through. Shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, that was custom mech number 2. Nope, I thought of that. The problem is, I do have 2 balls here. So if you have 2 balls drop in there, there's not enough clearance for it to even roll out. I could probably modify this backside here quite a bit to get it to work, but you know, less modification the better. If I just gotta cut 2 slits and screw an extra bracket onto the back here, that'll make life easier. So yeah, there's that. So what I might try to work on initially here is how I want to do the brackets for the stepper motor and the lead screw. So I do have to have clearance, so like in this space right here, there's got to be enough room for a subway to kind of come and snake around and then back over, okay, to help with the sortation there. Because like the subway in this is going to be a closed loop, and it's going to be like self-feeding underneath the playfield. So when it needs to stage balls, it does that all underneath on its own. So I gotta have it all kind of circle back to the beginning. I'm thinking, and yes, this bracket does overhang the edge here a little bit. I'll just trim it off and drill a hole closer in. Some of the other brackets are going to require a little bit of modification too on the VUX. Like I had to do something different back here because of where this VUC is. I actually cut out just a little bit the thickness of the bracket so it can sit below the rail here for the playfield. And then that'll work out alright. This one sticks out a little bit here. And this one here. But those should be pretty easy to just snip the end off and drill another hole. Yes. There are quite a few. So I guess we'll start at the top and work our way down. So there's a magnet here, and this magnet will stop a ball in the outer orbit and drop it into the subway, and that'll allow it to either feed this VUC or any of the other VUCs. It'll cycle through the subway and put it where it needs it. But yeah, so that allows you to stop it in the outer orbit and drop it in. And then just on the other side of playfield, there's this magnet here that allows me to stop it and drop it into the subway. It's like a mini subway just for the Quidditch playfield. So if you shoot this inner orbit here, or if you shoot in front of the right flipper here, it'll grab it when the Quidditch is lit and drop it into this hole. And this hole will feed just straight back to this VUC here. So that's its own little system. It doesn't feed the main subway, but that's just going to immediately pop it up onto the Quidditch playfield. So then we got 2 here. Those are just kind of experimental. I just want to make sure I kind of have room for them. But the thought behind those is using optosensors. I should be able to, in theory, use magnets as a form of a like a Jagoff kicker from F14. So, in theory, I should be able to sense when it's coming up here, quickly stop it on this magnet and drop it, and then use the magnet below it with optos to fling it back at you. That's kind of like the Dark Forest or Forbidden Forest shot. So I kind of want it to have maybe a little bit of brutality to it, but whether or not those end up in the final game, I don't know. It was just an idea I had. I mean, it looks like I already, based on how I put stuff in here, I need to move a little bit. Or I could just downsize to a regular size coil instead of the big old magnet coils. So yeah, that's those 2 there. And then we've got this one here in the middle of Horcrux Pizza. And that is mostly just going to be used to create a moment. Think like the mode start shot on Pirates. How it has the magnet in there and kind of flings it around. Kind of going to do the same thing when you're destroying a Horcrux. It's going to get pretty crazy in there. And whether or not that makes it in the final one, who knows. But I'm just kind of dreaming big, and we'll see what makes it. And then the last 2 are down here, which is, you might think, a very odd place to have magnets. But my concept here is something unique that I don't think has been done before. It would catch a ball coming down here, and then this will use probably optosensors again to sense it, and then briefly pulse this magnet to fling the ball across the trough or apron, whatever, to this other magnet, which will then also fling the ball back up and out this other out lane. I spent a lot of time on the geometry to make sure things line up. How that translates into real life, I don't know. But that would be the Dobie ball save, where Dobie helps you, or maybe could hurt you, I don't know. But this would only be available in single ball play, because obviously if there are too many balls down in here, it's going to have a hard time trying to fling that. Hey, thank you for following Scotty Iowa, or Scotty IA, however you want it. What's up, Pancake Flippa? So, yeah, that's the concept behind those 2 magnets there. It would only be single ball play. And it's just, I think it would be a really cool, unique feature. Who knows? Good deal. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, that is all of the magnets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, $350 worth of magnets right there. Sweet. So who knows? I might cut these 2 out. We'll find out. Absolutely. I'm happy to answer any questions. So that's those magnets, and then there's the one final magnet on the MagRail system that I showed you. Yeah, I'm new to Fusion 362, or as well, also, whatever the proper grammar is for that. I did, what was it? I did 0 hour. I took like essentially 5 years worth of CAD through high school. Maybe 6. I can't remember exactly how that worked, but from freshman through senior year, I took 1 class of CAD. And then I think it was both junior and senior year, they offered a 0 hour where you could come in an hour before the rest of school and do a whole extra supplemental CAD class. So I did a lot of CAD through high school. So I'm familiar with AutoCAD, and I've been tinkering around in that forever. But I had to learn like a whole new way of CADing with Fusion. Definitely not used to like working with a timeline and all that stuff. As you can see, my timeline is super messy and not clean at all, but I stopped caring after a while. I'm just drawing it, and whatever happens, happens with the timeline. Yeah, kind of a pain to learn. So, let's see. I want to work on the brackets for these guys here. So what I'm probably going to do is just do like a simple metal bracket. What I got to keep in mind is it needs to be, well, I guess it doesn't need to be too rigid, because the rigidity of this mech comes from the linear rails. So if the lead screw is kind of got a little bit of like sag to it or whatever, so be it. But I kind of want to still build the brackets for a little bit of rigidity. So let's start with this one here. Let's create a new sketch on the surface of the bearing on the end here. And then all I'm going to do is just do a projection of that. I never leave projection link on because that screwed up so many of my timeline stuff. I'll just do that, and then finish sketch, and we're going to extrude. Where'd my sketch go? What is this malarkey? Oh, because I have sketches off. Duh. And I'm going to extrude this the thickness of stainless steel, 18 gauge. Probably needs to be 16. Let me go back to... which one was it? 16 gauge. Thickness is 0.06 inches. I need to... I'm going to create a parameter real quick. We'll just call this stainless 16 gauge. What is this? 304. And what did I say? 0.06? Yes, 0.06 inches. Or 1.52 millimeters. Let's be specific. We'll do thickness of 16 gauge 04 stainless steel. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is go back to this extrude and edit the feature. I'm going to change it to stainless 16 gauge 304. There. Thickness matters. Let's see, I'm new to Fusion, love it. Yep, okay, we talked about that. Used pencil and drafting in high school, so they started us with pencil and graphing paper and all that. Super messy timelines, heck yeah. Kind of like the Mist multi-ball in a way, yes. Could you mount it off the linear rail brackets to save subway space? The only reason why I thought not to do that is because these are just the same bracket over and over again. So, for simplicity's sake, I think I was thinking of doing that just to make 6 of the same brackets, but I could make the 2 end brackets unique. Could be a thing. Think about that. And I can easily bring this over and do a 90 down. Attach it there. This section here, I could, make the end ones a U shape and mount a screw bracket to the top of it. Yeah. Yeah, bring those up. Okay, I see what you're saying. Alright, let's try something here. Let's extrude, not that face. Extrude this, and... Come on, can I select more than one, or no? You're gonna be that way, aren't you? About from this angle. Weird. Okay. Boo. I extrude this one, it doesn't have... it changes all the others. Need to figure out how to break the link between those. Is there a way to break a link? Save. Well. Least select modes to change one includes full. I don't know what that does. The reason why I can't move the screw centered over the magnet is because of clearance space for the subway. The subway's got to come around this side here. If I move it in, it's got to be kind of perpendicular to that slot, and that stepper motor starts to interfere with the subway. Yeah. So it's at where it is for that reason. I can at least connect it here, and then maybe just run a band the other way and screw it to the wood. It'd be kind of bulky to try to attach it to this bracket here. But if I attach it to one bracket, that's probably a good thing, right? Or, think about this, what if we rotate this? Of course. Ooh. Oh. Please undo that. Choose the axis, please. If I rotated that 90 in one way or the other, might be easier to attach something that way. That's just kind of least ideal out there like that. Something like this could maybe work. Where I kind of extend these two out and make a platform. Screw that too. Trying to think from a flat pattern's sake if that'll fit. Well, let's capture position like that. And I'm gonna just delete that sketch that I made for now. Delete that extrude for now. That still has room under that there. It would be a lot easier if I had a subway going through here so I could visualize it. But I think this might give me something to connect to the subway. First thing I want to do, I want to make sure the thickness of this is correct. It's 0.4, so 1.2. And what did I say that is? 1.52, so I mean, those are probably okay as 16 gauge. Got enough of them. Okay. Plan. Going to go back and draw sketch on that surface there. Project it. Finish sketch. Extrude it. This is 16 gauge. Or 18 gauge to match the other brackets. And then I hide that. And then I'm going to extrude. Let me rotate. What are you doing? Extrude that to object there. And okay. And then that's good there. Then I'm gonna extrude it also, what did I decide I needed? 1.5, about 2.5 inches. And let's make sure, okay, 2.5 is a little, 1.5 right there. Actually, that's right, okay. Bearing's not underneath there, so I don't need that full 2 inches. We'll just do this 1 inch, 1.25. Yeah, need a little bit more of a leg to screw down. Or I could... Just thinking. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. So this is actually Fusion 360 application or software. And then I built kind of a virtual version of this using Visual Pinball. Just to make sure like the shots and everything were kind of alright before I got too far with it. So now I am in the stages of translating that visual table to physical and making sure everything fits mech-wise. Especially with like all the custom stuff that I'm trying to do. Where did I put that? There. We're gonna convert this component. Now we're gonna convert this component to sheet metal. And we'll use the 18 gauge is fine. And then let's put a bend in it. Oh, that's so annoying. Just let me select it with all that without all that flickering. That would be nice. Why won't it let me grab the end of it? Why does it let me grab this end and bend it? Even due to an internal error, check the body and bend parameters and try again. What's up, brother? The goal is to build a real game from this, yes. Yeah, that's my objective. Okay, why it's not letting me do the bends on there, I don't quite know. It should. Does it like think there's like a bend to it already or something? No. Doesn't even like those ones there. Weird. Well, alright, well, let's delete this component and try again or something. Create component from body. Create or convert to sheet metal. And still doesn't like something wrong there. I've been bending sheet metal for ages, and now it doesn't like it. Let's just delete that body. And then messed up a couple of those timeline features, classic. New component. Okay. Such a pain. Probably going about this backwards. Great drawing. Great drawing. Come on. Why is this bracket giving me so much trouble? And what is that sketch? Can I move that sketch? That component, alright. Extrude it. I probably am going about this backwards. Yeah, right now. I just want this to convert to sheet metal correctly. Right. Now let me extrude. And okay. Hey. I don't know why that didn't work the first time. Alright. So I want the length of this, what'd I say? Inch. A boot. And then we'll extrude it the other direction. To object. The edge of that sheet metal there. Okay. Now let me do the bend. Huh? Okay, I can do it there. But I can't do it there. Why? Baffles me. What if I do it without going to the object? Can I do it now? Okay, I can. Music's sweet at least. Alright, let's try extruding it to distance to object again. This is so funky. Why was it giving me so much trouble on that? I'll never know. Alright, let's make sure that's lined up. Alright, and then do one more extrude. To object. Obviously, it's going to need a little bit more meat there. Okay. Can I union these? Ooh. MagRail assembly. This one I can delete. Well, what the heck just happened? Okay, that's still there. Alright, now that those are in the same assembly, well, let me... And I combine that and that. Not like doing that with sheet metal. I don't think it likes it. Those edges should be smoothed out into one solid. Okay. That there for now. Was the sketch that made that? Here. And the thickness on that should be correct. If I can get it to load. Okay, that is correct. So my thicknesses are correct. Those edges should be lining up there. Even let me extrude this one without affecting the others. Nope. How do I unlink those? That would make this so much easier. And maybe release with change order. Nope. That doesn't make sense. Save copy as. Don't want to do that. Or do I? Because this is going to be a unique one. In bracket. End. There's gotta be an easy way that I'm not thinking of. So that these are not connected. What's this? Design and preserves. Hey, Joe Hills, thank you for rating. Much appreciated. Everybody who's joining, thank you. I am currently working on my homebrew, or designing my homebrew pinball machine, which is Harry Potter themed. And I'm currently messing with trying to build some brackets for mounting things and whatnot. But if you have any questions about what I'm doing or how things work, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to explain them. Yeah, so that's what we got. Joe, appreciate it so much. Thank you for rating. So I am designing my own brackets. I'm gonna use send, cut, send to do like the cutting, but like these brackets it generates a flat pattern for them, so I can send this over to send, cut, send, and they'll cut them out, and then you can pay them to do some of the bends as well. I don't know if I'll do that or if I'm gonna try bending it myself. So those are the flat patterns for these brackets that mount this rail. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. What is your 3D SW software? Fusion 360. Autodesk Fusion 360. I grew up using AutoCAD, so learning Fusion 360 is new to me. Thank you for the follow, appreciate it, Tamriel Mother. And Trilby Rob. Hope I'm not butchering those. Much appreciated. So yeah, I've done quite a few like custom bracket designs and whatnot. So I'll have quite a large order to fill with them. Ah, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, like I did what, about 5 years worth of CAD through like high school and middle school and whatnot. I think my junior and senior year I took both 0 hour and as a 6th hour. So I spent a lot of time doing that, but like learning Fusion 360 is completely new to me as of this year. And it's still very tough for me to get used to. Don't get me wrong, it's got some very useful features. It does make some of the 3D modeling work easier. But I was just so used to like typing in commands and everything in AutoCAD. And then also changing your way of thinking, how there's a linear timeline down at the bottom here on every single action you take. And if you change something earlier, it's going to affect everything later, so you gotta think about that. And I have the ugliest organization of my timeline. Hey, thank you for the gift subs. Appreciate it, Cardiff Giant. Thank you so much. Welcome to the community, everyone. Gorin, Vernicious, Attack, Vinny Blanc, Random Retro. Appreciate it. And thank you for donating those subs. Much appreciated. I'm trying to figure out, my issue right now is all of these brackets, they were copies of each other, but I don't want changing one of them to affect the rest of them, which is what's happening right now, because I would like to just extrude this edge out, but nope, does it to every other one of them. And I don't know how to break the link between each of these components. In saving copies just creates another file that I would have to drag in here. You would think there's some easier way to do this. Holy Joe Hill's raid, no kidding. Intro to AutoCAD, that should be a fun one. They're gonna start you off with some 2D drafting, pencil and paper. So yeah, that's my struggle right now. Struggle is real. In theory, this should be... Okay, so there is a slight difference there. Interesting. The angle's the same. Let's... back. What was I messing with that flange? Oh, this timeline is such a pain. I'm sure there's a way more organized way to do this. Get rid of that flange. I want this to extrude to object that point there. Doesn't like that. Chop it back a little bit. Try again. To object that point there. Join. And then let's see if it'll let me do the flange. Will, okay. I don't know what it's thinking there. Let's just do that. And I would like to extrude this and join it with the other body here. And ideally, when you join the bodies, you should join the components, which it's not. And that's the struggle. That's where we're at. Worst comes to worst, I could just redesign this single bracket here. Why not? Why not? What do I got to lose? Extrude and the flange. And then MagRail mounting bracket 4. Delete that. Loading. Okay. I deleted that, but that body is still there. Where would that be? I wonder. Why not? Nope. Okay. Just checking. Mounting bracket 4, delete. If it deletes my copies, that'll be another. So stupid. Oh, we got straight into the program. Okay. I assume it's just going to be AutoCAD, or is it going to be like one of the other professional softwares out there? So what sort of CAD did I do in high school? I did... So, my freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior years, I took, I think it was like 5th or 6th hour, whatever it was. I took CAD class all those years, and then my junior and senior year, I also took 0 hour, which allowed you to come in an hour before school started and do a whole extra session of CAD. There's paste new to make a unique copy. Well, where was it that I copied all these? Scroll bar. All the way there. Sorry. I'm figuring out the not so fun side of CAD. Okay, here we go. Edit. Where are we at? I want to edit that feature. Copy, paste, MagRail, no. Change order. So what I was doing was create copy. I don't know. That should be good for you. I really enjoy CAD. I wish I would have kind of focused more on that as a career. So this is kind of more of a hobby for me. So I appreciate you dealing with my terrible CAD skills. You can go into your class and tell everyone that you watched somebody stream Fusion 360. They'll be like, oh, that's so cool. And you'll be like, oh, he was terrible at it. Okay. So I was trying to edit those features. Of course, that wasn't working. So there's save copy as, which I did, and I put it here. I could just import the copy that I made and modify that. Let's do that. So let's do another save copy as, and we'll do one for the other end too. And 2. And then add that, and then bring this one in, modify it. There's definitely a learning curve with Fusion 360. Like figuring out the timeline and like when you're trying to position things and getting everything lined up right. So like what I'm going to do here is just kind of roughly place it. And I'm going to use modify align and turn off sketches because those are in. Oh. Hold please. Okay, those are not the sketches. Okay. And we're gonna do an align from there to there. You gotta kind of flip that around. Actually, it'd probably be easier. Do the align the other way. So from there to there, and angle. There we go. So that is positioned correctly. Then you gotta click capture position, otherwise it won't remember it. Yep. Okay, so now that this one is in here and is different than the others, I should be able to see if I can extend this into here and join. Oop, okay. So let's forget that bracket ever existed. That one... no. And then, of course, it created a body somewhere. Wouldn't it? Slowly but surely. It is such a learning curve in this. Okay. So, what I'm going to do... let's just extrude this to object. Okay. I don't know why it's doing new body. Oh, this is such a pain. What is this? Where is this? Put it. Why'd it put it up there? Okay. Well, I can't... So because it's saved as an outside component, and it's to object, because it's an outside component, it doesn't like me editing in the software, so I have to edit it in place. Ugh. That and extrude that to That object there. Good enough there. And then I kind of need to extrude a little bit more here. Good object there. One more. Actually, whatever. Distance to object. There. Enough, and then gonna bring this down a little bit further here. Object just to clean this up. And then push this side in here. Object there. And then a little bit at a time. That goes to there. And then we'll get this guy here. Two objects there. Okay. That's what I was trying to do this whole time that you sat me or watched here and saw me screw everything up, and eventually just went about it this way, which may or may not have been the right way, but it works. So that part's good there. And then this needs to come and touch the playfield. We did it. So the big threaded rod is for, I call it the MagRail, and it is for, there's a magnet mounted to it that I can control the positioning of with a stepper motor, and control where it grabs your ball, and if it moves your ball while it's holding on to it. All kinds of craziness. I'll show you an animation of that in a minute here. So then let's kind of extrude this out another inch. And then I should be able to, I think, come down with it. That should give me enough space in between there for the subway to come through, I think. And then bring this the rest of the way down. Extruding to object. Kind of like that. And then we'll get a flange coming the other direction here. And that probably, what, 3/4 of an inch? Yep. 0.75. There. Then I need to put a hole in it. I'm just gonna roughly place it wherever. Doesn't need to be perfect. I probably need like 2 screw holes in here. Depth. Size of it needs to be, yeah, right here. What was I doing earlier? 5/32? Yeah, seems about right. And then depth of it needs to be, can I do, oh sweet, and flat bottom. I really need to, suppose. Let's bring this over another 3/4 of an inch, just so it has 2 screw holes in it. Wow, isn't that magic? See, that's kind of like the nice thing about this. Of course, I didn't go and set my depths. Okay. There we go. There is the bracket. The other thing is I need holes where that mounts there. So, see if I can do that. And then select a reference. Face, I selected the face. Sketch points. I don't know what I'm doing here. If I do multiple, can I select that as a sketch point? It doesn't look like it. Well, I can mess with the holes later. For now, let's finish the edit in place. And I'll show you the animation for the MagRail system. There we go. That bracket works. dog sees a squirrel outside, so he's going nuts. Okay, so we got the bracket done. And I wonder, can I view the flat pattern for it? Flat pattern. Oh, I probably got to edit that in place again to create the flat pattern. And there are no changes in design history since that's something. Do you want to continue? Yes. It doesn't let me create a flat pattern while I'm editing in place. Either way, I wanted to round off some of these edges. Just get rid of some of the sharp edges, just so I don't cut myself on anything. Nice 1/8 inch rounding. Yeah. Finish, edit in place. Man, it is chugging along. Okay. So we have the bracket there. We've got room for the subway to pass through right here, as intended. That's good. Good progress. Now, I'll show you what I was talking about with the MagRail system. So that's how that works there. The magnet is mounted to a custom bracket. And then here I'll flip it over so you can kind of see it moving from above. And then this is mostly using like readily available components. So like here's Max there, and looks like it doesn't interfere with the new bracket, which is good. And then all the way back to the minimum over here, which I gotta create the bracket for this side. I might do the same thing. Modify this bracket here, come up, do a band crossed or underneath like the other one did, and then just straight down to the playfield. Got plenty of space over here. So yeah, that's that mech. Fancy schmancy. What's up, Andrew? Just showing off my magnet rail assembly. So this uses a lead screw attached to a stepper motor, and then I'm working on creating brackets to mount those bearing assemblies to, and then down here are 500mm linear rails with the ball bearing carriage assemblies here. And I can just buy the set of those off of Amazon, ready to go. And then same with the lead screw. That is also drawn to spec for the one that I'm going to buy. So I'm making sure that everything fits, drawing it to spec and all that here, and then with that making sure that I can get the movement out of it. So like, I had to make sure that all these brackets weren't interfering with each other and whatnot. So that's been kind of half the fun. So that's good there. We're gonna do the bracket on the other side. Yeah, I think the bill's gonna be a little high. So like the 2 linear rails and the lead screw and the stepper motor is like, I want to say $250 plus a $50 magnet on top of that. So this whole mech itself is going to be like $300. And then I've got 7 other magnets in here at $50 a piece, so that adds up. Then all these pre-made mechs, like the flippers and drop targets and all that stuff, that's pricey. It adds up quick, but still, in the end, in total, it should be far less than what you pay for a new pinball machine today, like from a manufacturer. And it's going to be my own design, which is fun and cool. So, yeah. Okay. I already saved another copy of this, which I think is probably this one here. So let's hide that one. And then drag this one in. It's definitely the wrong rotation angle. Back to that. Okay. Find the right grabby point. Just get that roughly placed. And then what I'll do is doing a line on it. So I need to turn off the sketches. And then modify a line. Just the back face there. That there. Then rotate. There we go. So now I should be able to edit this in place. I did the last one. Once it decides to let me do things again. Okay. Edit in place. And then start with this side and extrude it to the edge of that object there. And then extrude this corner up to the face. Actually, before I complete that, let's cancel that one. Finish editing in place. I need to rotate that bearing. You can get them going pretty high speed. I don't know the specs on that, but it'll be as fast as I can get it. Hopefully fast enough to actually like sling it up a ramp or something. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So let's see. I need to grab that. That one. Okay. We're gonna rotate it around rod axis here. And just do 180. capture position. Okay. I'll do my best to get Buddy in it more. He's over on the other end of the couch, licking his toy, as usual. So with this, I also need to come back and give a mounting point for this motor. Alright, so let's go back to editing this in place. And we'll extrude this edge of it to the bottom of that block there. We'll create a flange. Off like that. Let's do it to there for now. And then extrude that to object. The one thing, like when you do a flange, you can't give it a distance to an object. Just kind of annoying. So you have to do a flange, leave it short, and then do an extrude. Okay, so that gets us there. Now I want to come back to the face of that motor, so let's do that. Oh, point here. And same as last time, it's going to look bulky until we get there. Actually, I should have created the flange the other direction first. Or does it? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Okay. And then we're going to bring this edge in. There. That's that edge there. Bring this other edge in now. Gets me to there. Then we'll do a flange up. And that to there, and extrude the face of that up to the top point there. That gives me something to mount the motor to. Then I probably need to come off of there and drop down. So let's extrude this edge out an inch-ish. Give me enough space to come in here. About 3/4 of an inch. Enough. And then we'll do another flange, but this time we'll do a split flange. Got this, and change it to offset. Nope. Died. can't really do like 2 prongs, so I'm gonna do what I can. That we'll have to do. Distance, let's make it 1.5. Oh, too far. Way too far. 1. I want to give it a little bit more. Come off. I guess it all depends on how much gap I want in the middle. So we'll just do 0.75. Oh, can I add another edge? Nope. I just got rid of that. Cool. Two side. -0.75. Okay. Another. Then I don't know how wide this is. Offset. Inch and a half in between. I think is what it should be. For those to be equal. Unless I'm doing math wrong, but we'll call it good enough. And then we'll bring both of those faces down to the surface. Gotta find out where my surface line is. So hard to see. Distance to object. Yeah. There's that one. And then we'll get this last one. Distance to object. And then a couple more flanges at 3/4 of an inch. Definitely not the prettiest looking bracket, but it'll get the job done. I figure I probably need this support over here. Probably need one on the other side too, to be honest, but who knows. Alright, and then shape this the rest of the way here. This goes to here, join A, and this goes here. Cleans that up there. Do I need this big chunky part back here? Probably not. A whole lot of wasted metal there. Oh, that's... It'll even let me add it here. And we'll do that to object. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's that. I can put holes. Too bad I can't, like, add a hole. I want to put it on this face here, but I want it to line up with that hole there. Oh, okay. I got that one to work. Maybe there's hope yet for the others. Then... depth. The stainless steel thickness. Alright. That hole's there. And then... see if I can do those holes there. Do, 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 do. Okay. Sketch points. Alright, well. We'll do this one by one. And I select... lame. Another hole on that face. That circumference there. And another. And one more. Suppose I can just press H. Makes it easier. And all the previous holes had the wrong depth, of course. One more. Alright, so those are the mounting holes for the bearing block. Now I need the mounting holes for that stepper motor. Which I wonder if I can measure. For the size of those holes there. Diameter 3.5 millimeters. Okay. Let's do a few more holes. First one there. Set the depth. And width is what, 3.5 millimeters. Okay. That's the first one. 3 more to go. I can figure out how to select that darn circle. No. And 3.5 millimeters. And depth. That. Okay. Two more. And try to get at this hole. Not from that angle. Ah, such a pain. There we go. And again, 3.5 millimeters. And thickness of the stainless steel. Hole complete. Okay, enjoy your dinner. Thanks for hanging around. Thanks for chatting. I'm hoping the build goes well too. It's just gonna take me a minute to get there. But I'm making progress day by day. So if I can do that every day, I'm good. So thanks for hanging out. Enjoy your dinner. All there. 3.5 millimeters. Distance. Stainless steel thickness. Yeah. We've got our mounting holes for the stepper motor. But the one thing that I don't have yet is the hole for the shaft. which I think honestly a 10mm hole over the center should be fine. Let's do that, and center it on that, and do 8mm. And thickness. Yeah. Holes are done there. That's all ready to mount. Couple more holes down here. What size was I doing? 5/32? Oh. Yep. I just put it in the center. Do I need more than one screw in each of these? Let's just do one in the center there. Or not. Why would it cooperate? There. Of course. Gotta set the depth. Because apparently it doesn't like remembering the exact depth that I had. It just likes remembering a little bit. Apparently it limits itself to 3 decimal places. And one more. Doesn't need to be exact. Okay. So that bracket is done. Finish, edit, and place. Now watch it break everything. Okay. It is complete. Oh, did I speak too soon? I forgot to round some edges off. I spoke a little too soon. Get it in place. Let's do a fillet. That edge there. And just these ones here. It's probably unnecessary to do those ones that are mounting to the wood, but why not? Okay. Should be good. Now we're done. Okay. Both of those brackets are done. The MagRail mech is, I think, engineered. Yay. Alright. Well, there you have it. MagRail mech. A little close to that switch. Should be able to manage that. Just put a little bit of shrink tube on it. And that comes out enough there. This end might be a little bouncy, but like I said, I don't care if the lead screw itself is too bouncy. I mean, it should be rigid enough with the two rails down here. I'm only using the lead screw just to push the carriage back and forth. So, if it's kind of bouncy, so be it. Whatever. Alright. I engineered something. Again. Let's save. That would be important. Don't forget to save. Okay. So I got that part done. I guess now... I could try to go back and mess with the subway layout to get it to snake through here the way I need to. Need... Go look at a pop bumper assembly, or a slingshot assembly. Category Homebrew. Oh, slingshot assembly. That's just telling me the holes. So I need clearance in front of it. I just need to make sure I leave enough room when I swing around here. To be manageable. Okay. MagRail assembly is done. Component 131, I think, is a dead component. Let's delete that. Deleted and it didn't break it. I'll take that as a win. Okay, so sketches, subway layout. When did I make that sketch? There it is. Somehow I feel like it's not gonna let me drag that. We'll just guesstimate it. A sketch. And it has to sit here and think forever. This is the portion that kind of needs to be rethunk. So let's just do some construction lines. We'll do kind of like straight vertical there. I probably could just do a little arc. Nope, did it wrong. Kind of. And what is my distance here? 1.337. That's so odd. I should just set it to 1.5 inches, maybe. Whatever. Okay, that kind of sweeps into there like that. And then I need kind of another. So you can do a 2-point circle? Oh, I can. I need to figure out finish sketch real quick. Let's see where that looks like it's lining up. Okay, so right about there needs to straighten out. So we'll do a straight line there, have it drop, and swoop back out here. And I just need to get it from point A to B. Now let's wait for it to load the sketch again. And let's draw a line at, I think, 33 degrees. I don't even want to know how big the file is now. So, kind of there-ish. I go. Tangent that. Boo. Really, I just extended. There we go. And then we need to kind of come straight down. Start here for starters. See if that's about right where it needs to cut around there. Sure need a beefy computer to run all this. Okay. So that's good there. Those are all just T-nuts and micro switches there. Should be fine clearing that. I kind of need to swing it about halfway point of that line. Need to shoot down at 33 degrees until I'm right about in line with the edge of that hole there. Yeah. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Wonder if I can see the file size on this. I don't even remember where I saved it. It's all online too, so it's like backed up on a cloud. On the line. So, from halfway down, we're gonna do 57 degrees. And then I set it to about the edge of here. We'll call it there. And then now from there, I should be able to kind of cut over towards center. Let's see. I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect at all. Let's just try to do some arcs. Go from here to here, and I want that, maybe, yeah, nah. I like that going straight down. Straight down, and then it can go into an arc or something. Roughly right, this has to come out here enough and allow me 1.337 inches. So that's fine there. I can probably... Well, let's think. So it's gotta get around... What if I bring it down here? And then right next to the other one. I like that. Yeah. We're gonna do that. Let's see, can I make these two go linear? And there we go. Probably there-ish. And then we need kind of an arc coming away. Kind of like that. Whoops, did not mean to click there. Should have enough, I think. Won't get stuck. Who knows? Stop it. Nope. Undo whatever you just did there. These can go away. That allows me to skip trying to get around the sling there at a steep enough angle. Something like that. I swear I just hit the delete. There it goes. Okay. We're close. Keep extending. Okay. So I think this should get to a point where the subway is avoiding all the major mechs that it needs to. Okay. So that's the other unique thing about this is kind of designing my own ball trough system so I can do the subway the way I want to, and yeah, kind of a pain. Let's finish sketch. Let's see what it looks like around that MagRail. Should be a good, I think. Okay. Bottom. Looks like these corners here just kind of need to go up and meet. All the rest of this, clear. So the lines are set at the bottom of the subway trough. So that'll be the bottom of the trough itself. So let's flip it this way. So that'll pass under there fine. And there's no interference with that mech. I'll go down into there, fine. So we have the layout for the subway, more or less. Not perfect. Gonna require some shaping around some of the mechs. I don't know if I'm gonna do 3D printed plastic yet, or how I want to do this. Oh no, that part there needs to be extended. So 2 final adjustments and then we should be good. It'll just take forever to load. There we go. I don't like that. It's dragging. Why is it taking forever? I didn't exit. The heck? Annoying. Okay. Let's extend. Yep, that's a wrap. No problems. Everything's gonna work perfectly now. Supposed to be connected here. Stop it. Such a pain. There we go. Now it's connected. So I'm not doing this on a particular site. This is just Fusion 360 CAD software. And then just as I build it, I'm kind of streaming it as I go. But if you keep following the stream and whatnot, you'll kind of stay up to date for the most part on what I'm doing. Okay. Such a pain. It's your first time watching Deadpool? Come on. You gotta step up your game. You're behind the times. There. Second one was pretty good, I think, from what I recall. Been a hot minute. How big is this hole here? One and a quarter. That's kind of what I should be eyeing this to on the inside, 1 1/4. That's generally the inner dimension, more or less. I don't know where the 1.337 came from. But we'll maintain. That's connected there. And let's trim this guy back. That should kind of go into there. Roughly speaking, it ain't perfect, but it's a subway path. We did it. Victorious. Assuming nothing went crazy with all the mess around I was doing. It should fit underneath the MagRail. Yep, okay, so that clears the end of the rail there. Pops out and down. Man. Alright. Making progress. A little bit at a time. Then they'll come back down and feed into there. Then I'm going to have kind of a sorting diverter thing. That'll take the balls and either send them right or left. We did it. Okay. So the next kind of crazy thing, which I'm probably not going to do this today. The next crazy thing is going to be extruding the subway. Extruding the subway profile and kind of sculpting it around the stuff. Like I'm squeezing it through there. And shouldn't have too much of a problem. Maybe I will. Getting around that flipper there. I might need to rotate that flipper a different way. I could have sworn that I rotated that already. Maybe I just didn't capture the position on it. Where are you? Guides, targets, right flipper. Rotate around. There we go. There. Man, I could have sworn I already did that. I probably just forgot to capture position. Alright, so the subway can clear out in there. And go all the way around there. There's a little diverter mech there that I gotta build. Kind of a little diverter mech here I gotta build. And then it clears that there. This part here, I gotta lower it. That's kind of figuring out the profile that I gotta extrude this along. It's the tough part. I need, if the bottom's there, but it needs to come down low enough to clear the bracket here. Means this whole mech needs to be mounted like an inch lower. Let's see how much lower. .328 inches. Write that down so I don't forget. So if the overall height of the subway is 1.5 inches, that means that whole mech needs to kind of be lowered 1.25 inches. So let's see. Got this mech here. Where is it? That and that needs to be lowered. Approximately 1.25. Negative. Okay. 1.5 inches minus 0.328. 1.172. We'll just do 1.25 inches because I think that's going to be the easiest to get posts that allow me to do that. Or bracket. However I end up doing this, it's going to be crazy. Music's pretty hoppin'. Okay, that interferes with that there, so that needs to move forward a little bit. To that point, I could probably just do a different kind of coil to plunge it. I don't know what's stronger though. The auto launch mech seems to be a pretty strong mech. But I could just do a coil with a plunger in it that knocks the ball up. Something to think about. Did I do the math right here? Yeah, because if overall height is... Okay. I should be able to bring it flat to here. And it's got to have enough momentum to be able to raise 1.25 inches by the time it gets back here. Okay. Hmm. Such a pain figuring out a subway system around such a loaded underneath. I mean, it'll work. I'm just thinking in my head how I can extrude the profile to create the part so that I can 3D print it. It's got to be extruded along this path. But from here to here, it needs... And from there to there, I can't do a straight line, so it still has to curve. But it's got to raise up 1.5 inches, or inch and a quarter, before it gets to this point. So I need to, like, draw that on 2-dimension or 3-dimensional line somehow to have it follow the path. If I could straight line it, that would be ideal. Ooh, cool breeze blowing in. Nice. What are these other things I drew in here? Oh, okay. That's really... okay. Funky. So I've got to do the black lines, shift it over, then when it gets here, got to start raising it. Then the rest of this is all pretty much the same height. Wonder if I can create a, like a... Nah, that wouldn't work. Yeah, it's gonna have to be probably 3D printed, or if I can do it, thermoformed. But I'm not that good. Part of this is teaching myself how to do all this stuff. Okay. Let's see. It's 8 o'clock here. Anybody streaming yet? That I can raid? More specifically waiting for Buffalo Pinball to start. And then I'll probably raid Buffalo Pinball with everybody here. So much learning. My brain can't handle it all. I probably can hide the sketch for the MagRail. Cardboard hot glue will not cut it, sadly. Hagrid's hut can be hidden. Okay, I don't really need that sketch. Sketch 38. Don't need to see that either. Okay. I think that's kind of all I wanted to accomplish today. Was getting the MagRail brackets and everything complete, and then rediverting the subway around it. That's pretty good progress. That one there, I'm just making sure all of my subway exits one last time are fed correctly. This VUC back here, it's gonna have to be probably a little more custom and unique than an off-the-shelf one, because it's got to sit low enough so that from this hole here and back to here, it can drop into it. And I can't have it interfere with the other subway going through there. So probably I need this kind of cut through this direction to give me more room to fall here. Or no, other way around? Actually, I don't know why this comes around here. I could just have it come right in through here and cut it close to this hole, and this hole can just drop down a little bit deeper. That's probably what I'll end up doing. It's a learning process. So, are there any questions in chat? Anything that you want to know about what I'm doing or why I'm doing it? You know, feel free to ask. Here to answer. Yeah. If not, I am going to go ahead and send us over to Buffalo Pinball. So I appreciate anyone who came over with Joe Hills or anyone who subscribed. Thank you for your time. Thanks for putting up with my terrible CAD skills. It's been an honor and a privilege. Raid. So I'm going to set up a raid here. And we'll head over to Buffalo Pinball. They're playing Toy Story right now, which is a really fun game. I enjoy it. Got one myself. So check it out. Kevin's probably gonna blow it up and get all the wizard modes and the secret hidden Forky mode. So thanks. Have a great and wonderful rest of your day.